We have one more type of function that we need to be able to find the derivative using the limit process. So here, our derivative with respect to t is going to equal the limit, and this will be delta t this time since our variable is t, of f of t plus delta t minus f of t over delta t. When we evaluate f of t plus delta t, that's going to give us 4 over t plus delta t. Subtract 4 over t over delta t. Now when you're working with these, the best thing to do is to simplify the numerator and then try to simplify the whole fraction. So I'm going to get a common denominator in my numerator so that I can subtract there. When I do that, my first term will be 4t over t and then t plus delta t. And then my next term will be minus, and then we have 4t plus delta t over t plus delta t. It's a little bit of a mess, but we'll get there. Now that there's a common denominator in the numerator, I can subtract. So we have the limit as delta t approaches 0. We'll have 4t minus 4t, and I'm just going to go ahead and subtract all the way through. Make sure that you do subtract all the way through if you don't show that step of distributing. Then we have this denominator, t plus delta t, and then it's all over delta t. At this point, we are ready to do some major simplification. The 4t minus 4t will zero out. Since I have a fraction divided by a fraction, I'm going to keep the first fraction, which is minus 4 delta t over t plus delta t, but then I'm going to flip and multiply. Technically, down in the denominator, there's not a written denominator, but I can always make that over 1, and so when I flip, I have 1 over delta t. This is helpful because now I can cancel the delta t in the first part with the delta t in the second part. Now, when I evaluate my limit, I have negative 4 over t plus delta t. My delta t goes to 0, and so my final answer is just negative 4 over t squared.